What is up, my Squirtleites? It is I, your king. Welcome you back to more Let's Play Destiny. Last episode, another relic gathered. We had a little bit of a conversation with Spider about his past. He actually was willing to divulge a little information to us. Today, this is it. This is the final pirate hideout that we're going to be tackling here in Season of Plunder. This is where it all comes to a head. Let's start by taking a look at the star chart.
Guardian, you are close to securing the last relic of Nezarec, and we near the end of our mission. I have noticed no further communications between Eramis and her crews. I hope this means the worst is behind us. I did find, however, a transmission from Eramis to Ido. It was embedded in an unsecured scribe log. You may have heard it. I do not know what Eramis gains in speaking with Ido. We know the Shipstealer only acts to her own benefit. But Ido shuns me. She studies the coordinates of the pirate layers without my assistance. I have never seen her behave this way. I cannot place blame solely on Eramis's influence. My actions pushed Ido away, though I meant only to protect her. She will see that in time. She must. Unless she has already made her choice. We must end this now, before something happens that cannot be undone. Claim the final reliquary and finish this conflict. May the light provide.
So, I'm going to go with a huge throwback here for a moment and talk to you about Mithrax, because you may actually recognize him if you've been paying attention to this series from the very beginning. There was an old mission we did way back in the beginning of Destiny 2, vanilla Destiny 2, and I'm going to grab that as well. We get ourselves another Cryptic Quatrains there. Way back in vanilla Destiny 2, there was a mission where we had to go all the way down into the bowels of the arcology on Titan. And in the end, at the very end of the mission, we were given an option to kill a knight or a captain that were fighting against each other. Now, if we killed the captain, the knight would still attack us anyway, and we'd have to kill it. But if we killed the knight, the captain would not fight back. The captain would just leave. Now, this captain, we chased all the way through the arcology as we had to fight off a lot of their crews, but this captain eventually left us in peace and allowed us to gather what we needed to be on our way. That was our very first interaction with Mithrax. There is more about him that we have learned later. All those cybernetic augmentations that you see on his character came over the course of a long time. We learned more about him in lore entries through things like Curse of Osiris, and he was always hinted at for a long time. But the next time he popped up was actually in a mission that we have not been able to do in this series because it has since been sunset. This mission, and I want to talk about it for a moment, was the mission to get Outbreak perfected. This was the original way to get it. It was an exotic quest that allowed us to play through and get it if we were able to beat it in a 20-minute time limit. The Mithrax, he would actually open up a way for us to make it through the mission a lot faster, and it was through his intel that we were able to get to the end of this mission. The boss at the very end was one of Eramis's elite captains, which all kind of set up the events of Beyond Light in the future. Now, you have to understand that this mission took place during the Forsaken campaign, so there was a whole year break between the events of that and then obviously the events of Beyond Light and then the subsequent season of the Splicer, where we met Mithrax once again. But this is kind of the timeline of events with this character. It's all been set up very, very carefully. And in a way, a lot of it is there and obvious. I mean, Season of Splicer is every bit as transparent as this season has been. But previous incarnations and previous moments where Mithrax were much more vague and much more... You might not have even recognized him if you had seen him back then, because he didn't look anything like how he looks now. He was still just looking like an ordinary captain, like any other Elixni captain. But now, of course, he is so much more than that. So it's just one of those instances where the storytelling was always there, but it took a while for them to set things up. And granted, I will say that Bungie's approach to storytelling hasn't been nearly as well, it hasn't been nearly as well thought out. I would say Beyond Light was really the year where they kind of came into their own with this sort of storytelling, because even during Forsaken and Shadowkeep, yeah, there were moments, but a lot of that was still in dialogue, not even in dialogue, just in written moments that you had to read on screen. A lot of it was still locked away in lore books. It was better. It was certainly a step up from what we had in Destiny 1 and Vanilla Destiny 2, but it still wasn't, it hadn't found its footing yet. But the way that they do the storytelling now, I think, is more than enough. There's also the lore to supplement it all. You still get that from things like the relics, like finishing the pirate hideouts and whatnot. But the fact that we are also able to, I mean, the story we are given is more than enough to tell us who Mithrax is, who Ido is, who Eramis is. I think this is the season, as you know, as not really well liked as this season was. This is the season where you kind of feel all of those threads woven together, because Season of Haunted is a totally different approach. Season of Haunted is kind of like the season where the game is just, it's character development more than anything. It's character development of major characters within the story. I mean, I wouldn't even call Mithrax and Eramis major characters. They're a little bit more minor in their approach to the story. You've got frickin' Commander Zavala, who is, you know, been there since the very first opening moments of Destiny 1. You've got Crow, Prince, who is, you know, the reincarnation of Prince Uldren, a character we met during the Destiny 1 vanilla campaign. You've got Kaidal, who, okay, Kaidal maybe is not so much of an old character, but we've been building up to her in so many ways from so many things, dating all the way back to Destiny 1, the Cabal Empire. I mean, Callus is an extremely important recurring character, and that's her dad, that's her father. So though it's a lot more like the major stuff, while Season of Plunder is more focused on these side characters, yet manages to make them so interesting, while also just having that fun pirate theme to it, which I do appreciate greatly. But you can see here, loot expedition, buried treasure, and complete expedition and catch crash activities where you celebrate with your crewmates. So this one is still a little bit obnoxious because I have to do 3 activities to get this done, but I'm going to be doing expeditions all 3 times with the treasure maps, and then celebrating with my crewmates to get them done. So once all of that is said and done, I will see you guys there for the next and final hideout here in Season of Plunder. And this is it. Let's go.
Guardian, this layer is swarming with the Lucent Hive. We must not abandon caution now that our mission comes to a close.
Your presence is not necessary.
Ido, what are you doing here? Are you unharmed?
I will retrieve the last relic myself, without violence. The Hive.
Ido, Guardian, find her, please. She is my light.
I will do what I can. We're going. Okay, so I brought a new toy specifically for this one. I went over to Zur, actually, between episodes, and he got me, well, a couple of things, actually. One weapon that we'll be using a little bit later, which was the one he actually had for sale, but then I got another one that happened to randomly pop from an exotic engram that I'm going to be using here. Where is the big guy here? So this rocket launcher that I have in my possession is known as a Wardcliff Coil. And this thing's a lot of fun. Now the problem is that I don't have the, unfortunately, I don't have the catalyst for this thing. So it's not really as strong as it could be. It doesn't home in as properly, but this thing is basically supposed to just be a giant, it's basically just supposed to be like, what is it called? Like the Iron Dome condensed into a rocket launcher. It's absolutely insane.
When we have it, Eramis Kell will see the futility of her actions.
You risk yourself for her. She will never abandon her ways.
No, you both must face the past. You cannot outrun it. You cannot hide it from me.
Ido, please, forgive me.
All right, we're going. Is that door open now? It is. Let's see if we got it. Okay, Lucent Brood time. Hey, that's what I want to see, is heavy. Okay, Hacker, Horde Seeker. Let's do this thing. You are a... Oh, goody. You are one of those. All right, so I'm going to launch that as much as I can into you really quickly. All right, worth it. Now that I have been launched back, let's start getting my volt shots going for as much damage as is possible. The only problem with volt shot is if you miss your shots, it really screws you over big time. There we go. All right, here, have that. Oh, my gosh, I'm poisoned. No, you don't. Don't even try. Stupid wizards. Hold on. Who else do I kill? You. Next. Okay. Get out of here, man. There, have that. While I deal with the rest of your friends. And now I will... Oh, gosh. You know what? I am going to use Wordcliff on the rest of y'all. So just a moment. Yeah, see, when you're using it on anything that's not a boss, Wordcliff Coil is great. It's just been significantly nerfed in the boss damage department because it's incredibly... I mean, just the amount of damage potential that it has is insane, so they did kind of nerf it against this exact one specific thing. But otherwise, it is a lot of fun.
The door is sealed! Father!
I know. Eramis.
Stop! She protected me! Stop!
Do it. Show your daughter who you really are. She could have had everything.
All right, and that's that. Mithrax he fights Eramis, but well, fuck it. I'll just cut all this.
So, let me get this straight. Mithrax has Eramis at the end of his sword, and then nothing? I mean, nothing? Huh. I thought that guy still had some mean in him. Guess I was wrong. I was right about you, though. Gotta hand it to you, kid. You did a hell of a job out there. Drove Eramis off, stopped whatever plan the witness had, and brought home all the pieces of Nezarec. Not bad at all. Mithrax and Ido have the relics now. Don't know what those things can actually do, but if anyone can figure it out, it'd be them. Hope it's something good. Yep, nothing for you to do now but lay back in that big old pile of pirate treasure you got. You deserve it. And don't worry about giving me my cut, Captain. It just felt nice to be a good guy again. Trust.
You know, Drifter, I agree with you. That was a bit of an anticlimactic ending. But oh, don't you worry. There's a payoff for it coming later. I promise you that. And honestly, maybe it was anticlimactic for the whole thing with Eramis and Mithrax themselves, but I'm pretty satisfied with how that turned out, at least for Ido and Drifter and whatnot. But of course, we still have more left to do. So let's go talk to Spider, or Rakis.
I think you'll find out.
And this is it, our final engram. Can I get a tarnished metal, please? Because I am literally one away from having the pattern. Please? No, no reprieve. The spider watches you draw yet another powerful weapon from the offered engrams. He chuckles. Hard to argue with luck like that, he says. One thing I've learned through this, the Guardians are a safe bet. And with that, he says gruffly, readjusting in his chair, I believe I've dutifully distributed all the gear entrusted to me by the Vanguard. So now I must ask you to, with all possible kindness and expediency, to get out of my bar. You can tell Ido is smiling when she contacts you over the radio. No attempts at energy jamming today, Guardian, she says. Either Spider finally found his faith in the Guardians, or he realized opposing you is more trouble than it's worth. Either outcome is quite positive, wouldn't you agree? I would agree, Ido. I would agree. And I hope that we get a conclusion with you here on the radio in a moment. Let's see if this no reprieve is any good. Son of a gun! They all suck. All right, well, let's listen to this.
Eramis, again, I greet you in the light. Not as my enemy, but as my savior. You protected me from the Lucent Hive. Without your intervention, I would have died at their hands. I thank you. I was terrified. Not only of the Hive, but of you. When you arrived, I thought it was to follow through on your threat. Then you turned and raised your blade against my assailants. But that same blade would have taken the life of my father if you'd had the advantage. I am not afraid of what you are, but I am afraid of what you do. The whirlwind led to you. It led to my father, but it led to me as well. We can see a future for the Elixni beyond the pain of the whirlwind, but you think you can't be a part of it. I do not believe that. My father spared you because he saw that you could turn from a path he had once followed. I see this also. I know the futility of this, but I will say it regardless. There is a place for you here. We need not be enemies. Come home, Eramis. May the light provide.
You know what I love about Ido? Probably the best payoff about her character is obviously she's played up to be naive. Like she doesn't understand things, but she's not naive. She's just, almost hopelessly optimistic, which is, you could consider that naivety, but I wouldn't really call it that. I think it's more that she just has a belief in everybody around her until, basically through to the end, both in her father and in Eramis and in the Guardian and everything in between. And I love that about her character. I think that's really admirable, and I know that I am way too cynical to ever be that way, but I appreciate that there is somebody like that. The levity is needed because while there are a bunch of, there's a lot of characters that do have optimism within the Destiny universe, or confidence at the very least. I don't think any of them have it in quite the same way that Ido does, and that's why I appreciate her as a character. Now, let's wrap all of this up by placing our final relic, and I do believe there's a couple things we can pick up at the star chart, but let's do it.
Now that we've collected all the relics, Mithraxkel and I believe that we could harness their power. To what end, we're still uncertain. While I believe in our abilities, I am concerned about the potential side effects such a process could have. An ancient dirge I discovered describes something called the Curse of Nezarec, which is rumored to drain the life of the user. Of course, I don't give credence to such superstition. Dark Age humans were comically ignorant. Still, I would rather not take the risk. My father disagrees. I suspect he wishes to redeem himself for his past wrongs, and in that, I cannot dissuade him. We will continue searching for a method to unlock the relics. Until then, the light provides.
Indeed it does, Ido. Indeed it does. Let's take a look at the star chart really quickly and see what we have here. So it's got a few map fragments for me to get, a spoil of the plunder, and then another one here for yet another trashy sail spy pitch glass. Guys, that is it. That is it for Season of Plunder. I was, honestly incredibly close to getting one of the patterns. So close. Tarnished Metal, 4 of 5. And unfortunately, focusing it isn't going to do me any good. I would just have to keep grinding until hopefully it drops. Wasn't able to get the Brigand's Law I wanted, but I'll take a Volt Shot. scout rifle instead. I think that's more than enough, honestly. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it. Next episode, we begin the final season of the Year of the Witch Queen. This is Season of the Seraph, and this is going to be paying off a bunch of different stuff as it pertains to, I mean, first of all the way back to Destiny 1. Do you remember Rasputin the Warmind? Very important character to Destiny. Even, I mean, especially in Destiny 1, there was strikes, there was entire missions that were all dedicated to introducing him. Of course, there was the entire Warmind expansion that came with Destiny 2. It was the better of the two expansions, although that wasn't saying much during the vanilla year. We later got Season of the Worthy, which, while being a really weak season in itself, paid off a lot more stuff in regards to what Rasputin was about to become, and furthered the goals of both Rasputin and Anna Bray as a character. So we're going to be learning a lot more about them. Anna is one of the major players in this upcoming season, but another major player is actually Mara Sov, who we're going to be seeing a little bit from, as well as another character that I don't want to quite spoil just yet. But guys, that's going to be it for this one. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.